Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of those sometimes bewildering corporate filings. Today we are looking at News Corporation and what seems like a routine update. But as you know, we like to dig a little deeper and see if there is more to the story. Remember to join our Discord community linked in the description below for more discussions like this. So what we have here is a Form 8K filing from News Corporation. Think of an 8K as a company-esque way of telling the public about major events that happen between their regular, more detailed reports. It is like a headline alert for important news. The really important date here is the 9th of October 2025. This is the earliest event reported in this filing, meaning this is when something significant happened that the company is now officially sharing. The company in question is News Corporation, and they are based in Delaware, which is a pretty common state for companies to incorporate in. And just for quick reference, their ticker symbols on the NASDAQ are NWSA for their Class A common stock, and NWS for their Class B common stock, and their IRS employer identification number is listed as 46-2,950,970. Their principal executive offices are located in New York City. Pretty standard stuff you see in these filings. Now let's look at what they've registered for trading on the stock exchange. They have their Class A common stock registered on the NASDAQ Global Select Market, and their Class B common stock is also registered on the NASDAQ Global Select Market. This tells us where their shares are actively traded and available for investors. News Corporation is not considered an emerging growth company. This means they are a more established company and don't get some of the regulatory breathing room that younger companies might. The main section of this filing is under Item 8, which covers other events. This is where they redisclosing something specific that is in part of their regular financial reporting cycle. What they are talking about here are their stock repurchase programs. Basically, the company has decided it is a good idea to buy back some of its own shares from the open market. They have authorized up to $1 billion to do this. This is a common strategy for companies and can signal a few things. So, they have the authority to spend up to $1 billion buying back their Class A and Class B common stock. Why would a company do this? Well, it can be a way to return value to shareholders. When a company buys back its own stock, it reduces the total number of shares outstanding. This scarcity can potentially increase the earnings per share, making the stock look more attractive. It can also signal that management believes the stock is undervalued, meaning they think it is a good investment for the company itself. Now, here is where it gets interesting and why we're re-seeing this 8K. Because News Corporation operates globally, they have to follow the rules of different stock exchanges. In this case, they are required by the Australian Securities Exchange, or ASX, to report any stock repurchase transactions they make on a daily basis. This filing is essentially them fulfilling a reporting requirement to the SEC, informing the US market about these disclosures being made to the ASX. So, attached to this filing are two exhibits, 99.1 and 99.2. These are the actual reports they sent to the ASX. While we're not going to dive deep into those ASX reports themselves on this channel, it is important to know that this 8K is referencing them. They also include a standard legal disclaimer here about forward-looking statements. This is super important. These are statements about what the company intends to do or expects to happen in the future, like their intention to repurchase shares. But, and this is the key part, they're saying these statements are based on current beliefs and are subject to change. The actual results could be quite different due to various market factors, legal changes, or even just missing out on other investment opportunities. They are explicitly stating that they don't promise to update these statements if things change. This is a way for them to protect themselves legally. Finally, under Item 9, the filing lists the exhibits. We already talked about 99.1 and 99.2, which are the ASX disclosures. And there is also the cover page interactive data file, which is pretty standard for electronic SEC filings. Now let us put on our investor hat and really think about what this means. On the surface, this is an 8K about stock repurchases. But what is the biggest story? The company has $1 billion authorized for buybacks. That is a significant amount of capital. It suggests management is confident enough in the company's future and its current valuation to deploy cash in this way. Think about it like this. If you had a spare $1 million, would you invest it back into your own business, hoping it grows, or would you put it elsewhere? News Corp is essentially saying they believe investing in their own shares right now is the best use of their money. This can be a positive signal, suggesting they see value and growth potential. However, we also need to consider the context. News Corp is a massive media conglomerate. They own newspapers, publishing houses, and broadcasting assets. The media landscape is constantly changing with digital disruption. Are these buybacks a sign of strength and confidence in their ability to navigate these changes, or are they a way to offset potential earnings declines in certain sectors by reducing share count? From a Warren Buffett style perspective, we de-ask, is the company truly undervaluing its own stock? Or is this a financial engineering tactic? $1 billion is a lot of money. If these buybacks are done strategically when the stock price is low, they can be very accretive to shareholder value. But if they re-buying back shares when the stock is expensive, it is essentially burning cash. Without seeing the actual details of transactions in Exhibits 99.1 and 99.2, we can definitively say, however, the requirement to report daily to the ASX for what could be a massive buyback program indicates a significant ongoing effort. The risk here, as outlined in their forward-looking statements disclaimer, is that market conditions can change rapidly. A shift in advertising revenue, regulatory changes affecting their media properties, or unexpected economic downturns could impact their ability to continue these repurchases or make them less effective. So, in conclusion, this 8K filed by News Corporation on the 10th of October 2025 primarily details their ongoing stock repurchase programs and their obligation to report these activities to the Australian Securities Exchange. While it doesn't offer deep financial results, it signals management's confidence in returning capital to shareholders and a belief in their stock. S-value, the story here is less about specific numbers right now and more about a strategic decision to deploy significant capital back into their own business. Keep an eye on how these buybacks are executed and how they impact their future earnings per S-Hair. Alright, that is our breakdown of this News Corporation filing. What is your take on these stock buyback programs and what they signal for the company? S-Future, drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.